I'm Scott Allen Miller. It's the 12th of November, 2022, and this is my vlog of daily life in Leon, Nicaragua. Today is Saturday, and I'm filming again here in the courtyard. This is actually the last of a long series that I've been doing of these, so several of the days you'll see in the future I actually recorded after this. Today is actually Friday. I'm as far behind as you can actually get and still get the videos out, if this even makes it in time, which it should, but it's going to be a close thing. And getting the thumbnail done is going to be a miracle because Valentina has to wait for this to get edited, uploaded, 4K rendered, then she brings it down, gets the screenshot, makes the thumbnail, puts it up, and all of that has to be done before she leaves for the day because it's Friday and we're already partway through the day and I'm going crazy trying to get things done. It is mayhem and I need to get all of them up. So as they start uploading, it's just going to go. Anyway, I'm doing this in the future, and the important thing is the reason I've been doing this in the courtyard, as many of you know if you've been watching the show, is that my foot was broken and then I did some dancing and I got some soft tissue damage, but it is feeling quite a bit better. So if you're wondering if this is working, today's the day that I can give you the feedback that so far it seems like it is. As I walk around, I'm really not feeling the pain in my foot. I don't have that burning. I don't have that inflammation. It's still obviously messed up, but it's not nearly as bad as it would be. I do want to see a doctor, but I have recently discovered, just by doing the math, I'm sleeping less than 3 hours a night because I have to walk the dogs so much early in the morning and late at night that I have no time to sleep. And I didn't realize just how exhausted I've been becoming over the last year, but the dogs require me so much of the time. I'm falling asleep in my office chair. It is painful. I'm starting to get sick from how tired I am. We only have 2 weeks to go until we're in the new house, and that should solve the dog issue. That's why we're getting the house. It's because we have to have a way to let the dogs not make me walk them at every moment of the day. We have Paula, who walks them during the day now, so it's a little bit of an improvement that keeps me from being interrupted while I'm working, but I still have to get sleep at some point, so that's the next thing to solve. So much going on, so busy, so it's very, very rough, but my foot is definitely improving, and when I get time, I will attempt to go see a doctor, but we only have a few weeks until we're heading to the United States, which we are going for Christmas. We're heading up on December 15th, coming back around January 1st, so we're going to be there for roughly 2 weeks. In both New York and in Texas, so that's going to be I have to squeeze it in before then, obviously, so it'll be pretty rough. I am recording again in the courtyard, and the videos that come out after this were recorded with the audio recording that people have already complained about. So if you're watching this one, I have change the auto leveling on the Tascam. So the hope is that the Tascam is now recording without the jumping around. I'm guessing that it's the auto leveling that was causing the audio issues. So we're testing that today. If this sounds good, don't complain about the next few days. They've already been recorded and I already know there's an issue. If today sounds bad, then we know the issue is something else and I need to figure out another workaround. But I'm pretty sure from listening to it that it's auto leveling, jumping up and down because it goes by 6 decibel increments. And it seems to be that it clips by 6 decibels, everything gets quiet, and then it pops back up. And so now it's at a negative 6 decibels and we'll see how this sounds. And I'll try to show where it is. The Tascam is right here. I showed this setup the other day, so you guys have an idea of what it's like. So today is Saturday. What is our project for today? Today I am on the beach with Ron looking at properties around Las Bonitas. So this was actually a really fun day, but I didn't really have a chance to film anything. I took a couple pictures, which I posted on the community here on YouTube, but that's about it. I didn't go around doing filming. All the properties that we saw today are things that I can film in the future when I have time to prep and we're not busy actually looking at them or doing anything. I didn't want to interrupt that process, and it was a very hot day as well. So my plan is to, because everything that we looked at today is properties that are friends of mine, so and viewers of the show, right? So it really works out well that we're going to go back and film those sometime where we can take time and really film them in the future. So today is just my update from the courtyard here, but it's always a lot of fun for me going around and showing off town, anywhere here in Nicaragua, just in general, giving tours, looking at houses, and all that kind of stuff. So it was a pretty cool day. We looked at both houses and hotels, saw some properties that I've never seen before, some really interesting stuff. So it was a lot of fun. And sorry for the break there. I'm having like the cursed day of recording. Not only is this one of my busiest days in weeks, which is really saying something because I've been run off my feet, no pun intended, with the foot issue going on for the last couple weeks. And today is beyond crazy with how busy things are. I have absolutely no time to get to anything. So many critical things going on, and just rushing as fast as I can from thing to thing. And while I'm trying to get this out, because I have a tiny window of like 45 minutes to make this video, edit it, and get it uploaded for Valentina, I've had to record 4 times because the first 2 times the camera didn't work because of a glitch in how Apple macOS handles files. You delete them, but it doesn't have any way to see that they're still there. It just fake deletes them, which once you know, because that's the problem with Mac, right? It's an expert system. Everything is, you have to know how it works. Nothing's intuitive on the screen, which is fine, but you have to know those things. And it's a good life lesson in when you use Mac, make sure you know how everything works, because there's no intuitiveness on the screen. That's their model, right? People who say, oh, it's easy to use, they've always used it for a long time. Sit a new person down at them and they're always like, what? I've been using it for 2 years and I'm still constantly being caught by, how was I supposed to know this? There's no indicators anywhere. So my SD card for the camera, Mac hides files on it if you're not careful, and there's no indication. So if you don't remember, you have to memorize your file management for every one of your SD cards in order to know if they're full or not, because the Mac can't tell you. We're not in any you have to do a bunch of work. So that caused me to miss a couple things because I knew the card was empty according to the Mac, but it was actually full until I went and did some stuff. Then as soon as I started recording, the camera overheated. Even though I gave it a bunch of time without running, it's just so hot out here that the camera overheated in minutes. So that is my day. So this is my 4th take on trying to do the video. Hopefully I can get it done. And hopefully the audio works out because, I'm trying new stuff with that. So that is where we are for today. Just spent the day on the beach, going around looking at properties. It was a lot of fun. And then headed back this evening and watched some Rings of Power with Liesel. That I'm going to keep it pretty short for today because there's so many problems with the editing and I've got to get this uploaded, and sometimes we just need kind of a day off from lots of stuff. But it was a cool day of doing that. I'm going to be able to show more of those houses sometime in the future. We've had a really good week here on the channel. Thank you so much to everybody. Please remember to like and subscribe. Comments below. Ask any questions that you have. I don't have any topic for today, so I'm sorry that there's just no way for me to have a topic today. It's completely impossible. Actually, that's not true. We are going to do a topic today. But first, like and subscribe, comments below, ask questions. If you'd like to, buy me a coffee, you can do so here. And today's topic, and of course share on social media, today's topic is one of the things that really stands out to me about Nicaragua, and this is a weird thing that you would never imagine ahead of time. You'd never think to ask about it. You would never think to really discuss it, but it is that everything is wet and slippery and leaking all of the time. And this is weird to say, but it's true. No matter where I go, the sidewalks, the roads, the interior of a car, the floor, anywhere, it's wet so much of the time. And everything is tile in buildings. So there's a constant necessity of trying to keep from slipping everywhere you go. And as someone who has broken their foot because of problems with the tiles here, and then having several times fallen, every time it rains when we're here, it is so dangerous. Not here in the courtyard because this is concrete, but everywhere else is tile. And if it gets wet at all, it is worse than being on ice. And you have to keep shoes on all the time. And even when we had a good rain not too long ago, I knew I was going to fall and there was nothing I could do about it. Completely trapped with how slippery everything is. And there's very little you can do to take precautions against it. The floor is so slippery so much of the time, and there's no way to avoid walking through it because you got to get through your house. I put on shoes, I walk as carefully as I can. There's not like hand grips on the wall, and eventually I just fall down. And it's a regular thing. When I'm walking on the sidewalk, there's a regular amount of, you suddenly step on something that's so slippery. There's moss on the sidewalk. It's wet a lot of the time. There's drains coming onto sidewalks. Sometimes when it rains, of course, but it's also, there's often water and things on the sidewalks even on dry days because houses drain onto there. People throw out water to wash. Like, there's just, for some reason, everywhere you go in Nicaragua, things tend to be pretty wet. And it's just, what a weird thing to think about. What a weird thing to realize goes on. And part of it, I'm looking right now, and there's parts of this area that are mossy. This is remember, we're in the tropics. This is hot. There's bright sun, not right at the moment, but all day there's been super bright sun, and yet there's water everywhere. The concrete that I'm looking at on the ground, it goes between the cracks. There's water flowing. And it's because of all the air conditioning units constantly dripping. Our showers in the house are always wet because the air conditioners go into the showers. So the floor of the shower is always wet. The plumbing everywhere leaks. A lot of this is because there's a lot of salt air here. A lot of it's because plumbing is old. There's lots of reasons for it, but every single thing, every toilet runs a little bit, every shower leaks just a little bit, everything. And it adds up to there's moisture and drippings all the time everywhere, and that causes mold is very easy to have happen. It's very easy to get moss, believe it or not, all over the place, and it adds up. Each little thing is tiny, but you have to be aware. It's just a thing in Nicaragua. Things are wet and slippery all the time everywhere, and so falling down is a real problem for a lot of people. For me, especially because I have to walk dogs, so I'm often being pulled off my feet. I'm really carefully trying to keep balance because both dogs yank me really hard in different directions, and it's I walk the dogs a dozen times a day, literally a dozen times a day. I'm out walking the dogs, and in lots of different conditions, and a lot of times it's on cobblestones going down pretty steep roads. I mean, it's not like crazy steep, but it's reasonably steep roads of cobblestones, and they're wet all the time. Things like that. It's really surprising. So something to be aware of when looking at Nicaragua is that if you're going to be living in a lot of different places, like traditional homes, hotel, like most of the hotels we stay in, there's always something wet in them. Like it's just something that happens. And of course, a lot of it is because this is a humid country and the humidity never stops. It's not like you have dry days and humid days. It's always humid. So anything that's going to cause things to sweat or collect water, it's not going to evaporate. So the littlest bit of water gets somewhere and it becomes a lot of water and it just stays. So it's something to get used to and be aware of. And it's a whole aspect of Nicaragua you would never, ever ask. So is that a slippery country? It is. It's a slippery country. Weird things you would not have thought about. Thanks for joining me. Like and subscribe. I will see all of you, and I know I will because I have all the future days recorded tomorrow.